everyone. Today we are honored to have with us Karen Gondoly, CEO of Leostream. Karen, welcome and congrats on your success.
Well, thank you so much, Roy. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for having me.
All right, all right. So, Karen, for those who may not be familiar, what is Leostream and what makes it unique in the market?
Yeah, well, you can see from the logo behind me, in a nutshell, what Leostream provides is a remote desktop access platform. Now, obviously, there's other options out there, and it's really what makes us unique. That is what makes us also very powerful. And that's that we allow organizations to build a remote desktop access environment that can really satisfy just about any hybrid workflow need that they need. That can be hosted on any platform. It can be using any display protocol. We allow people to build a solution using best of breed technology and have the flexibility to migrate as new technologies come to market, maybe just switching platforms based on organizational needs, and all while providing a really seamless end user experience and a high performant end user experience, which obviously for media workflows is very important.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. And can you give us a brief history of Leostream and how it has evolved to where it is today?
Yeah, it's funny because we've been around for quite some time. Leostream Corporation was founded in 2008. The company was actually around prior to that, doing more in the physical to virtual machine migration space. But in 2008, we launched the connection broker, which is the core component of our platform. It is what the piece that does authentication of users and authorizes them to the appropriate resources, connects them, and then manages that connections, manages pools for resources. So that really came to market in 2008. And back in those days, we did a lot in the financial markets, actually. And we were connecting traders to workstations that were hosted in the data center. Now, this sounds like it's on-prem, but if you think about it, it's still remote. The user is sitting on the trading floor and their workstation is not near them. Anytime you take a user and remove them from having a laptop or a workstation under their desk, they become remote. And so we did a lot back in those days in those different markets. And in 2016 was when we introduced the Leostream Gateway to the platform. And this really allowed us to take the concept of remote and move it off premises and expand it to what we really truly consider remote, which is people who aren't in the office anymore, because the Leostream Gateway provides that VPN replacement. It's a very secure device that allows you to connect users who are off of your network into the network, but providing them access only to the particular resources that they're allowed to access. So I released that around 2016. And really around that time as well is when we started looking at the cloud and saying, oh, the cloud's going to be a great resource for remote editing or just remote workflows in general. So we started adding support for AWS EC2 and Azure and Google Cloud Platform as hosting platforms that our connection broker could manage. So it's really been a long journey, really based on where we've seen the market going and really also listening to what our customers need in order for them to be successful.
Uh, Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Now, what is Leostream's core mission and how does it guide the work you do?
That's a great question. If I take one step back, the vision, the grand vision is really to transform work from anywhere for everyone, and that everyone we talk a lot about the end users. They need to get a performant connection. They need to be able to work from anywhere. But there's the IT staff that's managing that, and that we cater to them as well. We want to make their lives easier and more efficient and more cost efficient, as well as just time efficient. So really with the vision of transforming work from anywhere, then the mission becomes, how do you do that? It again, it's by enabling these enterprises and these IT teams to really build a better way to manage these hybrid workflows in whatever way makes sense for them. And again, using the best of breed technologies that make the end users the most productive.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And you've spoken to some of this, but maybe you can get into a little more detail. But what are the biggest challenges organizations face with remote access and virtualization? And then how does Leostream solve them?
Right. Yeah, the three big ones that we hear about, obviously the IT is always beholden to the end users. And so ensuring end user access and adequate end user performance is always top of mind, because if the end users aren't happy, then your system's pretty much doomed to failure. So what we do to help IT teams ensure adequate end user performance is, again, it goes back to we allow you to choose, in this case, the best display protocol based on the user's workflow. So maybe that's something like an HP Anywhere or an Amazon DCV, MEC9 TGX. We support a wide range of high performance display protocols that IT can leverage where they're appropriate. But then this kind of wraps into the second challenge, which is, well, how do I manage costs for these environments? Well, again, because we have this breadth of solutions that we support and allow you to integrate, you can use those high performance display protocols where they're appropriate, and then use things like Microsoft RDP or something else less performant, but also less expensive, where that's valuable. Or you can use Amazon DCV if you're putting your workloads in Amazon EC2, because then you don't have to worry about the DCV licensing costs. We also provide, speaking of Amazon, a number of tools for spinning up workloads, so launching instances in EC2 and then either powering down or terminating them when the users are done with them, again, as a way to manage costs, because particularly if you're moving into the cloud, compute can become expensive. So using our solution, you can help optimize license usage, you can help manage costs in the cloud. And this leads me to the third challenge, which is, how do you make it easy for IT to do that? You want to simplify IT, because these environments can become very complex. And the key about our platform, we kind of call it the set it and forget it tool. You set up these rules that will manage power states, manage capacity, ensure that users get the right display protocol. And then IT can actually move on to doing other tasks, because the broker is automating power states and capacity and everything in the background.
Gotcha. Excellent. All right. What sets Leostream apart from other remote desktop and virtualization solutions?
It's really a lot of what I've talked about. There's really no other solution on the market that has this breadth of support for different display protocols, different hosting platforms, and different workflows. If you look at the interface for the connection broker, there's a lot of dials and knobs and widgets that you can use to tune exactly who has access to what, from where, for how long, what happens when they log out. And we find that in enterprise IT, that level of flexibility really becomes important in order for them to optimize their resource usage across a wide different range of user types. So that's by and large the biggest thing. The other thing that I'll point out isn't really related to the product, but related to our support team. I am just always very proud of our support team. They consistently get wonderful reviews. They're always there to help the customers, and they do a very good job at making sure that their problems get solved in a timely manner. And I think when you look at some vendors, that you hear stories where that's not always the case. So
Yeah.
I think that's a very unique thing for Leostream, and something we're very proud of.
Yeah. And I can certainly emphasize that with you in our work with you. And what we hear from our customers as well, is your support team is excellent. Yeah.
Thank
Go
you.
above and beyond for sure. Yeah. All right. And can you share a recent innovation or product update that you're especially proud of?
Oh yeah, we've got some good stuff on the horizon. So far, when you and I have been talking, we've been discussing the remote desktop access platform, because that's what Leostream's been working on since 2008. Well, we learned a lot about remote access during those 17 odd years. And what we're doing now is we're actually putting out in the next month or so a new product line. And that is going to be the Leostream Privileged Remote Access Service. And the initial use case we're looking at is third party or vendor remote privileged access. So this is going to be a service. There will be a hosted management plane, so a little simpler to set up because of that. And it's very, very tailored to that third party remote access. So allowing vendors, so if you have contractors or if you have outsourced IT, allowing people who aren't part of your organization essentially to have access to your corporate resources, but without needing to onboard them to your identity providers, without needing to set up VPN connections with them. and most importantly, without sharing privileged credentials for your corporate resources with anyone who's not in your company. So we're very excited. Yeah, like I said, launching in by the end of the month, and we're extraordinarily excited to see that come to market.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. Can't wait to learn more about that. Yeah, excellent. Okay, now how does Leostream ensure security and reliability for its customers?
So swapping back to the remote desktop access platform now.
Yeah.
So that solution is actually all downloadable software. So for us, when we talk about how are we securing it, we're looking at making sure that we're updating and patching the core components. And obviously we get external pen tests and make sure that everything that they find is addressed anytime something comes up. We very much encourage our customers to run any kind of security scans that they want when they install our platform in their environment, because that's the thing is we give them the software, we make sure that software development cycle is secure, and then they have their environment where they need to make sure they're managing their firewall rules and keeping their operating systems updated with security patches, all that kind of stuff. And we'll give them guidelines, but that really is also kind of something our customers like, is that when it comes to the security of their environment, they have control over that. Again, our software is secured from the development standpoint, but they have total control over who's allowed into their environment based on their access control rules. And from a reliability standpoint, our software can be architected in their environment to provide high availability. So they can cluster connection brokers, they can cluster gateways, they can leverage their corporate load balancers to ensure that they have the SLA that their end users require.
Nice. Okay. And who are some of the media organizations that rely on Leostream and what do they use it for?
Well, we are in quite a lot of media and entertainment companies out there. We actually in 2022 won a Science, Technology, and Engineering Emmy from the TV Academy because of our work with media and news outlets. Unfortunately, it means they often don't let us use their names.
Yeah, understood.
But the two that I can talk about are two that are actually joint customers of CineSys and Leostream. So because we always enjoy working with your team, and that would be Republic and Camp Lucky. Those two case studies are out there for everyone to read. And in their case, they're using to manage remote access mostly for post-production workloads for those two, for creatives, post-production engineers. We are doing a lot with live production in the more recent terms, so you'll see us out there as well. But the thing about Leostream is we're that secret sauce that's kind of in the background, making sure users have
Yeah,
access. And
yeah.
fortunately, you can't share the secret.
Yes, yeah. I completely understood. Yeah. All right. I mean, in terms of the future of virtualization and remote work, how do you see that future and then how is Leostream helping to shape that future?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people really wondering and looking at how can they leverage cloud more, and in the appropriate way. And what they want to be able to do is have that mixture. I think there's, when you talk about remote work, again, I could be remote if I'm at home, at my desk and my workstation's racked in the data center. I can be remote if I'm home and my workstation's a GPU instance up in the cloud. There's so many different ways that you can model remote. And I think that's the thing, is people are looking for how can they leverage, what's the best way to leverage each of these ways, and they want to be able to manage that type of environment easily. And that's where Leostream helps out, because we can help you manage cloud and on-prem, whether it be rack workstations, virtualization. Virtualization is not always the answer, and with Leostream you can pick the answer that works best for you. And I think that's really the direction that people want to go. They don't want to be locked into a stack that says, oh, I must host my stuff here and use this protocol. They want to have that flexibility and build the best solution they can.
Yeah, yeah. All right. And certainly in our work, we're always working with customers to get started on Leostream, and our customers, certainly anyone watching can reach out to us. But in terms of learning more about Leostream and how to get started, are there any resources you'd like to point to?
Oh, there's a whole bunch on our website. So just go to leostream.com and you can browse through case studies. We have dedicated pages for the M&E solutions. And if you're looking for something, you can't find it, you can always drop us a email. You can email sales@leostream.com. If you prefer, you can email info@leostream.com.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, Karen, I just want to emphasize how much we value our partnership with you. Again, how much our customers value the Leostream solution, how powerful it is for media workflows. And thank you for joining us today and sharing your knowledge.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a number of years we've been working together and we look forward to many more.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.